As I call your name, if you could just unmute, confirm if you do have a name on the screen that it's correct, or give me your full name if it's not up there. And then tell me how you're connected to this particular application, whether you are a member of the community, a member of the applicant or ownership team, or anyone else. So start with Matt Lashide, who I know is from the Cincinnati zoning department. Welcome, Matt.
Hey, David. Good afternoon, everybody.
Um, let's see. I then have Matthew Lynn.
Yes, I'm on behalf of People's Bank as the applicant with Kessler Sign Company.
Okay, great. Welcome. I have a Kevin.
Yes, my name is Kevin Egan. How are you guys today? I work for People's Bank. I'm the head of marketing.
Okay. And could you spell your last name for me?
Eagan.
Okay, great. Welcome. I have someone under Carrison, maybe? Carrison? With us, if you could unmute.
Yes, my name is Callie Arison, and I work for Kevin in marketing and support Matt with the branding.
Okay. And I'm sorry, could you give me your full name again?
Callie Arison.
I'm sorry, you have to just spell all of that.
CALLIEARISON.
Got it. Okay, welcome.
Thank you.
All right, Susan Smith. Are you with us? If so, if you could unmute.
Sorry, I had to unmute. Can you hear me?
I can, yes.
Okay, perfect. So I'm the regional manager for our Madisonville branch there in Cincinnati.
Okay, great. Welcome. On the applicant owner side, are we expecting anyone else to join us here today? No? Okay. Let's go ahead and get started then. I need to read through our hearing script. This will basically just cover the procedure for the hearing, and then we'll jump into it. So this is the April 10th, 2024 session of the zoning hearing examiner docket. My name is David Sturkey. Again, I'm the zoning hearing examiner for the city of Cincinnati. I'll be presiding over this hearing. Case before us today is case number ZHUV240001. That's 5727 Madison Road. The purpose of this hearing is to allow applicants and any potential opposing parties to testify and to offer and refute evidence and testimony. This hearing will follow the rules found in the zoning code and the supplemental rules of the zoning hearing examiner. Any evidence or testimony that an applicant or any other party wishes to provide must be presented at this hearing. The hearing will proceed as follows. The applicant, the applicant's attorney, or the applicant's agent will first present the applicant's case. For our purposes here today, I'll allow, it seems like everyone here is either part of the Kessler Sign Company or the People's Bank, if that was correct assessment. And so I'll allow all of you, or really one or all of you, to speak about the particular application. Of course, what exactly you're proposing, any background you think is appropriate, what type of zoning relief you need, and why I should grant that zoning relief. After that, if there were anyone here from the public, they would have an opportunity to speak after the applicant had presented its case. So if anyone joins us midway through the hearing from the public, I will give them an opportunity to speak about the case if they would like. I'll then go to Matt Lashide. Matt will provide any testimony in addition to his staff report. In the event that any party testifies or offers argument in opposition to this application, the applicant will have an opportunity to respond to that argument that was offered in opposition. And then finally, the applicant will have an opportunity to make any closing statements. After all presentations have been made, I will close the hearing. Decisions may be expected within 2 weeks. I may limit or exclude any testimony that I deem irrelevant or outside the scope of the application being considered. I may interrupt any speaker asked questions or to make any comments. In the event of any technical difficulties with the Zoom technology, I'll do my best to troubleshoot those on the fly. But to the extent there is some defect that prevents us from meaningfully going forward with this hearing, I may continue or postpone the hearing at my discretion. Okay. Last thing I need to do is just swear in all of our witnesses. So if you intend on providing any testimony here today, making any comments, asking any questions, doing anything other than just strictly observing, the zoning code requires that I swear you in. So if you know at this point that you would like to offer something, I'm going to go ahead and collectively swear all of those people in it at once. If you're not sure, I can always swear you in later. But if you know now that you would like to provide something, please go ahead and take yourself off of mute. Ms. Smith, if you'd like to provide any testimony, I'll need you to activate your camera. I'll need everyone to raise their right hand and to answer out loud. that you solemnly swear the testimony you shall give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
I do.
All right. So I have Kevin, Matt, and Matt sworn in. All right. Who's going to be taking the lead here for us on the presentation from the applicant?
Me, Matt.
All right.
I would-
Floor is yours.
So we'll start with the wall sign. As in, the findings, this is an unusual building with the layout for, the wall sign and the purposes of, where it can actually be above the roof line. We do have a roof line above that, but the findings in the code state that you cannot have it above the roof line, which is the first part. So, that is our hardship there. It is underneath one of the roof lines. It does, coincide with the size of the building, so it's not, a monstrosity on the building itself. With the road sign itself, just trying to gain the most exposure as People's Bank is new to the area. We feel that this sign would help and, their access to the community. So, this is a normal size that we have used prior. We also have used some other ones, but, there is other signs in that area that have, larger stances on their property. So we feel that the variance is, necessary.
Sorry about that. To be clear, can you tell me exactly what signage and where that you're proposing to install on this property?
So I can start with the wall sign. The wall sign we're looking to put above the window section on the roof.
Okay, above the window section on the roof. Let me try and use a demonstrative here as I share my screen. Or if you have drawings or things you can show by sharing your screen, you're welcome to do that. But are we talking about up here?
No, not on the actual roof part. We're talking about on that white band.
Down here.
No, the one up by
Right.
the window. Yep.
Right here.
Yes, sir.
Okay. And that will just say some version of the People's Bank up here. Is that right?
It would just be the People's Bank and the logo.
Okay. Got it. And will it fit within the white there?
Yes. So the letters would be on a raceway, and the raceway is what would be mounted to that section, and then the letters would be a little bit larger than that band itself.
Okay. Yeah. So how what's the square footage of the sign and how the letters?
The square footage is so the letters themselves are 19 3/4 inch tall. The logo is 25.5 inches wide by 24 3/4 inches. So it's kind of like what they call their icon. And then the total length of the raceway itself would be 18 feet.
So approximately 2 feet high times 18 feet
Yep.
width.
Correct.
Got it. Okay. And will those extend above the top of the building there? Or-
Not so that band itself is about 18 inches. We've done a survey on it already. So those letters would be a little bit larger, but they're going to protrude out a little bit on the raceway. So it's not going to look like it's, a whole lot larger than what that space is.
Gotcha. Okay. All right. And then the pole monument sign is the other proposal, right?
Yes.
Just tell me more about the dimensions, location.
Yeah. So the location is in a little island that looks previously there was a sign there in that area from our findings. The monument sign itself, has two full covers and two bases, which would match the building to accommodate, the area. The sign itself does have a roof topper, which we would make sure that we were still within, not overhanging anything, obviously, into the right of way for the walk area or the sidewalk that's there. And from what the code does have, it is over the size of what's allowed in that area. What there's other signs in that area that are larger than code allows, which those may be grandfathered in. But that's why we do have variances and stuff to get in front of the board for things like that.
And David, there's a bank. We're immediately next door to another bank, Fifth Third's right there. So we're just trying to have a size of equal sizing, I should say. And right now we have a temporary, essentially looks like a for sale sign in the yard. That's, I don't know the exact dimensions, but it looks like a realtor for sale sign. So we want something that is at least as close to equivalent of that Fifth Third sign as possible.
Okay. All right. Anything else anyone would like to tell me about the request? Okay, move on to Matt. Matt.
Sure. Yeah. Thank you, David. So staff spent a good amount of time analyzing this. Actually went out to the property, I think twice, to look at it, see the signs in the immediate area, read through the code requirements in more detail. Start with the wall sign. The wall sign seems like a pretty basic request. The code requires that the sign be on the wall, basically. It can't be on the roof, it can't be above the roof, it has to be on the wall. The building's just a really weird shape on the staff report on page 6, 7, let's see, 9. Page 9 of the staff report, I made an illustration that shows the permitted locations on the building where the applicant could install a wall sign. It's very limited, not really very helpful. You'd either be blocking storefront windows or it would be so low that nobody could see it. So I think a variance to allow a sign to be a little bit higher. Yeah, technically it projects above the eave, above the gutter line, but not by much at all, as Mr. Lynn explained. And I think a variance would really be necessary to let them have a functioning wall sign on this building. So staff is supportive of that variance. Moving on to the ground sign. It's in a T5 MS. So that MS is Main Street. So in form-based code, for folks who aren't familiar, typically the expectation is that buildings will be located on the sidewalk, that you walk from the sidewalk directly into the front door, and that the building is very easily visible from the right of way. If the building were being built today, it would have to follow that requirement. However, we know it's not. The building was built before these requirements were in place. So it may not be fair to impose the same requirements on a building that does not meet the standard code here. Typically, you would only be limited to building signs, like a wall sign or a projecting sign, or a very small sign in the yard, like Kevin, I'm sorry, I forget your last name, but like you outlined, or a landscaping sign. But generally, this district does not anticipate that you would have a building setback like this one, so it does not provide allowances for ground signs of substantial size. So for that reason, because the building is in an unusual location, staff is supportive of a use variance to allow a monument sign. However, the second piece of relief is related to the size of the sign. And the size of the sign is beyond what would be permitted even if a monument sign were allowed here. The monument signs, if they were allowed in form-based code, are limited to 8 feet high and 12 square feet of area, which is intended to be a more pedestrian scale, neighborhood scale sign that you can see as you're driving past, you can see as you're walking past, but it wouldn't be visually overpowering. So our recommendation is that the use variance to allow a monument sign be approved, but that sign should have to follow the standard requirements that any monument sign in this district would have to follow. The sign as it's proposed now is 15 feet high. I think it was over 12 feet wide. It's larger in height, it's larger in area. I did some research to see if a sign like this on a property like this was proposed in an auto-oriented commercial district where we'd expect to see like shopping centers, gas stations, or if it was proposed in an intense manufacturing district or downtown, a sign of this size would not be permitted anywhere in the city. So I don't feel that it's appropriate to approve a sign of this size in a neighborhood business district, but we are supportive of the use variance to allow a standard size monument sign. Again, it would be limited to 8 feet high, 12 square feet in area.
Okay. Thanks, Matt. So following up on Matt's comments, I'll give you guys a chance to respond, but I had a sort of a more pointed question. Is there anything else about this property that presents a hardship other than wanting to match the 5th third sign size? A hardship that prevents you from complying with the size, width, and height requirements of the pole sign?
Yeah,
I don't think there's a lot of visual blocks as you approach. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
for the street sign, I think that there is a little bit of a hardship just because, if we are granted the building sign, like Matt had mentioned, it does kind of sit back. A little larger sign to, allow people to see, where the entrance is and what it is that where the bank is, obviously, rather than either get past it or right up on it to decide that that's where they would be going.
Gotcha. So you think that this size, again, the size, width, and height are all variances that are necessary for the pole sign. You think without this size, cars would have difficulty identifying the bank?
I think we could remedy the size some. I don't think that it needs to be exactly that size, no.
I think there is a compromise in here to your question, David, where it doesn't have to be 15 feet high. From what I heard, if we had an 8-foot high, 12 feet area, it would get approved. From what I believe I just heard from Matt. What's his Matt, Mr. Lynn, is 12 feet an area? Can we do a sign?
Yeah, we could. The only thing with, I'm kind of getting out ahead of this a little bit. If we do something 8 feet tall, we're probably going to have to look at, if we go to it twin pole versus a single pole, there are people that are going to be turning in and out of that lane there. So I know that there's the sidewalk there and stuff. I feel that, the heights requirement there, we might have to move it back a little bit. So that's where your 12 square feet is going to, it can definitely be done. Yes, absolutely. But I think that, if you move it back, you're going to want a little bit larger, obviously, in that regards.
Because we're blocking cars, is that what you're saying?
Yeah, if lower with that pole sign, yeah. I mean, obviously, had it up at the 15 feet, you can see through it. People, either coming or going.
Let me propose. This is something that we regularly do during these hearings. I am able to continue this hearing in progress. Essentially, just pause it, call a timeout on the hearing, continue it till next week. In the meantime, you all, if you would like, again, this is up to you. You all would be able to, and sorry for getting any feedback here. You all be able to discuss this, have a conversation off the record with Matt about what he's comfortable recommending to me. And if you wanted to make changes to bring it a little bit closer to compliance, that is something that I'd be happy to entertain if you would like to. That's completely up to you. If you want to submit the project as designed, I'm happy to take that submission and review it and make a decision based on the current application. But if you'd like to try to amend it to bring it a little bit more into conformity, I'm happy to give you all a week or two to do that. Really, it's just how much time you think it will take. A week is the shortest I can do, and there is no cap on how long I can wait for this to come back. So I don't know if that's something you all want to consider.
Matt, Mr. Lynn, yes, right? We would like that, or
So I just have a quick, yeah, we would like to do that. I just have a quick question. As part of this variance, if we proposed multiple options, is that something that we could look at in one variance?
No, unfortunately, you couldn't. I would have to have one site plan and one piece of drawings that are have certain specifications.
Okay.
I couldn't have like multiple choice. Like we can't do
No,
that.
yeah, no, I didn't. Yeah, okay, I see what you're saying.
But when you talk to Matt, I mean, you guys can all talk about those considerations and what Matt and the zoning department are comfortable approving. Again, I can take his recommendations or not take his recommendations. Matt will tell you that I don't always take his recommendations. So I don't want to like make you guys beholden to what the zoning department says, but when you're talking through that with them, they're often really good at sort of considering multiple options and making recommendations on what they think is the best move.
Okay.
And David, your final decision is either approved or not approved. There's no, okay, it's A or B. It's cut and dry, I should say.
So let me show you. I'll just use this demonstrative real quick. So this is Matt's staff report. There are three distinct pieces of zoning relief here that you all are requesting. One is just to install a pole sign at all. The other is the size, width, and height of that pole sign. And then the third one is for that, I believe it was referred to as a racer sign on the actual top of that building there. And so he's recommending denial on the size, width, and height. If this, at any time, if this were submitted, since there's three different pieces, I could approve one, deny two, or approve two, deny one, any version of that. But I can't, I don't know, does that answer your question?
I think it does. I guess where I was going with that is you don't give a decision that says, hey, if you reduce the sign to 8 foot tall by whatever it was, 15 feet, you get it approved. All right. So we need to come and then you stamp it yes or no.
Yeah, you need to come with a specific plan or one specific plan, and I need to either approve or deny that. I can't. We try to stay away from sort of designing it for you, right?
Okay. Yeah, that's where I was going with that. Okay, perfect. Do we, at the end of this meeting, if we postpone that decision till a week from now, do we have final approval, or it goes to you for the piece that we talked about at the beginning of the hearing, or does it all go together?
I'm not sure what you mean. Could you say that again?
The sign on above the window at the roof line.
Yeah, it would all get pushed back, and I would look at it all together as a total package. Yeah. Okay. But I can tell you that the racer sign, based on the application materials and what I've seen here today, I am inclined to approve that based on all the testimony that I've heard. Okay. And I can't speak to the pole sign this time.
Fair enough. Yeah, so we would like to postpone for a week and talk with Matt if possible.
Yeah. Hey, David, do you mind opening the staff report again?
Sure. Yeah, I would focus my efforts on the pole sign.
On the last page after our scroll down one more. So that is an illustration. I'm not a sign designer. I'm not, it's, I did it in probably Word, but that's an illustration of our expectations and what we feel comfortable recommending approval of based on what the code allows. In my opinion, it's a compromise because we're allowing you to have a type of sign that's not permitted in that district because of the unusual placement of the building. But we're just asking that the sign be within the standard requirements. So I know my little mock-up was not very good looking. I'm sure you guys, the professionals, could do a much better one. But if you're able to email me a PDF of something like that, I can review it and hopefully feel more comfortable recommending approval of it.
Okay, and we just have to do it in advance of this time next week.
David?
Well, so that's up to you. If you think you can get something to Matt in the next few days, Matt, is that enough time for you to review your staff report or to amend your staff report?
Yeah, it should be. Yeah.
Okay. Then we can get you back on in a week. If you think it'll take more than the next, if you can't get anything to Matt by the end of the week, then I would say let's set it for 2 weeks from now.
Matt, Lynn, you're okay? We could mock up something in the next couple days?
Yeah, absolutely.
All right,
We can get something next.
Okay.
We appreciate your guys' time.
Sure, absolutely. It would 9 a.m. be an okay time for next Wednesday while I have you all here?
Yeah, we can make it work. I appreciate the quick turnaround.
That works for me.
All right, I'll put you all on for next week at 9 a.m. You'll
Next
get an
Wednesday,
updated.
9 o'clock.
Yep, next Wednesday, 9 o'clock. You'll get an updated Zoom invite and with a new time. And in the meantime, please work with Matt. Share the updates as quickly as you can.
Okay.
Okay. Thanks everyone for continued in progress. See you next week.
Thanks. Bye.